Hey, so what's going on YouTube? You're back with the kickback. You with Sean
and Letitia. Welcome to this week's episode. And this week we will be still on the topic of relationships, but we will be discussing whether or not long distance relationships work, and the 4 key elements you will need to make a long distance relationship work. As I've never technically haven't really been in a long distance relationship, I'd like you to take the floor or start on that one.
Okay, so boom. Okay, so I have previously been in a long distance relationship, and I can just speak from I'll speak from my experience, and then we'll talk about the 4 key factors that Tish was talking about. Okay, so it starts off where everything's lovey-dovey, you're falling asleep on Skype together, you know, like just typical romance. It's like, have you ever heard that saying, distance makes the heart grow fonder? So obviously you don't see that person as much, so it makes you want to go out of your way to go that long distance. When you meet up with them, there's so many things to talk about, but then at the same time, because you're so far apart, you don't really get to know the person. So it's like you're so excited to meet the person again because it's been so long, but it has its pros and cons. That's what I'm trying to say. It does have its pros and cons.
I do agree with you in that aspect of, because you're as an outside person, as someone who may have talked to people in long distance but not actually created a relationship out of it, because for me it was like not necessary, or I don't see it feasible. But we'll get into that in regards to obviously the 4 elements of what it means. But the fact that you are so far away from each other and not in each other's space means you get to know each other to some extent, but you don't really get to know the ins and outs of each other. Your good days, your bad days, you know. You don't get to kind of know, not saying you don't, but
do you mean like you don't really get to see how they really tick?
Yeah.
You know, that annoying thing they do, like there could be annoying traits that your partner could have, but because you're in a long distance relationship,
you don't really see it as much.
Yeah, you literally only get to see like that person for a limited time. So it's like in that time frame, I'm not going to say necessarily pretending to be perfect for you, but they're going to be perfect within that time frame. It's like you need that time to fully see them slip out of character and be their true selves.
Like, you know? Even in any relationship, no relationship is perfect at the end of the day, and you're gonna clash with your partner at some stage. I know I annoy Sean, and I know at times Sean annoys me, but it's the fact of because we've kind of
built an
understanding of kind of, and we're still learning of what makes each other tick, and tick, still learning what makes each other tick, and we're growing, and that's what that lack of distance, that closeness that we have had has enabled us to do, to grow together as a couple.
You know what, I wanted to interject and say, sometimes when you're in a long distance relationship, there's conflicting schedules. So that's one of the cons that I want to speak about. There's conflicting schedules. For instance, there might be some kind of like uni exam that your man's doing, so he's not going to be able to come and meet your parents, or vice versa. Or there might be a situation where your partner's abroad and then it's not feasible for you to come out for a week or two because then your job says no, and then it's just, there's too many complications. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but this is why we want to get onto the 4 factors, because it has to be worth something. It's like your partner has to be the real deal.
I mean, even we've had conflicting schedules.
But we don't have that kind of distance.
Exactly.
In terms of...
we've had conflicting schedules, and that in itself was at that time difficult for us, because at the time I was working during the day.
I thought I was killing you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was working during the day, and Sean was working mostly evenings and nights. So our conflicting schedules meant that we didn't see each other much at all.
But I would still always try and
once or twice a week he'd come and make sure he came and we'd go for lunch, which was nice. And then sometimes I'd go home just to like kind of straight away have a nap, so that like when he finished work, I could give him a call before he got home or went to sleep or whatever, or vice versa. Even things like, "Oh babe, you sleeping?" I'm like, no, I'm awake.
How are you gonna say no, I'm awake, and then fall asleep? It's like, yeah.
And we were only like a few minutes up the road from each other. Do you understand what I mean? But the fact that we were close meant that it was a lot easier for us to maybe slip in that lunch break, or that day off where we were able to quickly spend time with each other. When you have that distance and then have conflicting schedules, it makes it 10 times harder. So we're going to move on to the 4 stages.
So the first one is trust. Now, trust is a key factor. That's why we put it first. Now,
sorry to interject, in any relationship.
But especially in a long distance relationship, it's like there's going to be a lot of doubts in your mind if you're not emotionally secure within yourself. Oh, what is she doing? Is she really studying, or is she doing this? Or
is he really working late, or is he doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah. So trust is key.
The second one we're going to go with is foundation. Again, another key in any relationship, but more so in a long distance one, because foundation, you need to have something other than just a physical connection with that person. And for me, I feel like sometimes a lot of people date for
that physical attraction.
Or out of boredom, or whatever it is. But you need a foundation, a friendship, a kind of a joint enterprise, or a joint hobby, or something that brings you together, that is outside of the kind of lust or physical or anything else.
Like for instance, like if your I'm not saying like if you're into tennis, your partner has to be into tennis, but just on a deeper aspect of like more in terms of like religion. Like say if you're a Muslim, it's like you should be more inclined to date a Muslim person, seeing as they have the same morals as you, because there's going to be a lot of conflicts down the line. Like same thing if you're like a strong Catholic or Christian or whatever, right? And that's one of the key things that we need to look at here, because it's like if you don't share the same morals, then how are you even gonna have a long-term thing?
There's a saying your mum says.
What? You have to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Yeah. My mother says that a lot. She said to me, if you're not singing from the same hymn sheet with the woman that you're with, then there's no point. Because later down the line, there's going to be so many like twists and turns and problems for you that it's not going to work. So she has to share the same morals. It is what it is.
The same basis morals, the same core values. Even we kind of differentiate kind of the path we take to those core values, but we still have the same kind of core principles and values and standards.
And that's why communication is so key, because when you communicate, that's when you can find all these things out from the start. It's like the same way, it's not just a girl's job to find out about a man. It's a vice versa thing. It's like when you're moving to a girl, it's like you need to find out what she's into as well. Yeah, she's got a pretty face, but that pretty face isn't going to raise your kids. So it's like you got to find out what she's about, what her morals, like, you know what I mean? It's like you got to find out everything about her before you start making that next step. Unless you guys have some kind of arrangement where, you know, that's your business. But if you're trying to look for a serious partner, the same way she's asking you questions like what are your short-term goals, what are your long-term goals, you need to be asking the same things. You need to find out as much information as you can, otherwise it can't push forward.
Yeah, communication is key. And the last and final of the four would be location. Location.
I see, you know, I saw you going there. I saw you going there.
So basically, it's a thing of when, in regards to a long distance relationship as well, you're going to be in two different cities, two different countries, two different whatever it is, it makes it that much harder. So you need to get to a point where you need to understand, where is this going?
You mean the end goal?
The end
goal.
Like,
what's the end game?
Are we moving? Am I moving here? Are you moving there? Are we moving somewhere in the middle? Are we growing from this? If it's not, if there's nothing moving, if you don't see it moving forward to something, you know, it there's no point in continuing something that has no future. So
it's like you've got to look out for signs, like if they're talking about I a lot, you know what I mean? Oh, I want to do this, I want to get my diploma in this, and then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If there's no we, it's just I, it's not for you, bro. It's not for you, bro. You know what I mean? It's if there's no, okay, so I'm gonna finish this, and then when I get back, we're gonna, you know, or you know what, all right, well, when you're finished with your studies, maybe you could move here, or maybe we can meet in the middle, and then we can live in Birmingham or like St. Lucia or wherever. You know what I mean? If there's no conjoined plan to where we're eventually going to meet in the middle, then the future's just looking dim for you. You know what I mean? So look out for the signs. Also, follow your intuition. Follow your gut feeling. If you feel like there's something wrong, never put all your cards on the table. If you feel like there's something fishy going on, never put all your cards on the table with your partner, right? And I know that's going to sound a little weird, but if you trust your partner, put all your cards on the table. But if you don't put all your cards on the table, but confront your partner and say, listen, I feel like something's up. Assess their body language, not what they say. And yeah, just always follow your gut. Always follow your gut. But yeah.
Right, so thank you, guys. Let us know what you think of these key principles: trust, foundation, communication, and location. 4 key things you need to think of when thinking of a long distance relationship. 4 things you need to focus on, whether you and your partner are on the same page. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And another thing, Ratchet Book Challenge. All right. I want to see everybody in their bomber jackets, beanies, valleys, like whatever you've got, just throw it on.
Now, there have been some speculations about what Ratchet Book Challenge consists of. And when we say ratchet, we're saying Ratchet Book Challenge because of the stigma of the word ratchet. What we're not trying to do is kind of make people feel like, oh, I need to be ratchet to be in this picture. What I'm trying to say is, you know, break those stereotypes by kind of by combining the stereotypical look of someone who may be ratchet or perceived as ratchet, and with intelligence, because this is the thing, people don't connect the two, and that's what we need to start doing as a community, as a society, connecting the two, because it's not just suburban and it's not suburban people who know how to read. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, like we're not trying to turn it to like gangland. It's like we're not trying to get you arrested here. But at the same time, it's like we need to start breaking stigmas. We need to start breaking the walls down. It's like we want the public to perceive people differently, in a different light. I honestly believe if people start to see younger people of this generation reading books in this kind of clothing, it's definitely going to change the perceptions of of people
and future generations to come.
Yeah.
So thank you guys again for tuning in.
Oh, and I want to give a big shout out to my boy Benel. It's his birthday on the 1st. You know what it is, Benel. And yeah. Go.
Happy birthday, Benel. Moving on swiftly. Gonna wrap up today. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Kickback LS. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. We want to see those subscriptions going up. We want to see more of you tuned in every week. Also, we just wanted to apologise for not releasing one on Sunday. Sean fell downstairs.
They're gonna think you're beating me. Like
I'm not.
They're actually gonna think you're beating me. Like no. I actually fell down the stairs.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But yeah, that's it. It's a wrap. But thank you for tuning in. Subscribe and Kickback. Let's get it.
See you next week, guys.